Well, hello and welcome to a Wednesday daily with Rising Sun and what's the other one? Cornucopia and Guilds, just sprinkled in there a bit. And yeah, this one looks very interesting, and there are a few different strategies you can go for here, I think. And as always, we just start by looking at the kingdom cards. First up, there is Daimyo, one of the strongest cards in the game, and it does cost 6 debt, but it's well worth it usually, because it gives you a card and an action, and then the next time you play a non-command action card this turn, you replay it afterwards. So non-command is just so it doesn't trigger off of itself, but it allows you to play whatever card you draw basically with a plus card and action slapped on it, and like another time. And that's a really, really strong effect. And yeah, you shouldn't underestimate it. And also you can chain them. If you play 2 or 3 daimyos, you will play the action card you play 3 or 4 times. It's really insane. And yeah, the only problem is getting those juicy daimyos into your deck, but there are ways to do so here, which I'll come to later. Then we have Stonemason. Trash a card from your hand, gain 2 cards, each costing less than it, which is okay. I mean, you can trash a gold for 2 5-cost cards, which is nice. But also it has an overpay effect, and you can pay extra money to gain the Stonemason and 2 action cards costing the amount you overpaid. So if you pay 6 for a Stonemason, you can get 2 poets or a poet and a plaza, for example. And oh yeah, actually I forgot. In the beginning you were probably a bit annoyed when I said Daimyo is costing six money. That I am quite in the way of those of the bottom part of Daimyo. Sorry, now you can read it. But here I am again. Let's discuss Aristocrat. Usually that's a rather weak card, one of the weakest cards in Rising Sun, in my opinion, because it has an interesting mechanic. Depending on the number of aristocrats you have in play, you get different effects. So if you have 1 or 5 in play, you get 3 actions, then 3 cards, then +3 money and +3 buys. So if you've played 4 aristocrats, you've essentially um, yeah, played 1 card saying +3 money and +3 buys. I think that's correct. So a terminal +3 money, +3 buys. If you play 3 of them, you essentially have played 3 peddlers, but the problem is that you have to line them up for that. And here there are other ways to get actions via village, but aristocrats might be a nice way of getting payload, getting money, because if you have 2 aristocrats in play and then play a bunch of daimyos, for example, playing that third aristocrat, you might get a lot of money, and then you can still play one afterwards for the buys. I don't know. They might be a viable way to go for here. Craftsman +2 debt, and then gain a card costing up to 5. So that's a workshop variant, allowing you to gain cards costing up to 5, but you get the 2 debt every time you play one. I don't know. Might be viable here. We have Advisor, which is a 4-cost lab variant where you only keep the 2 worst cards of the next 3 cards that you would draw, because your opponent gets to discard one of them. We have Plaza. Speaking of discarding, this one is a village, and you may discard a treasure for 1 coffers. So if you have overdraw, if the Plaza is quite nice at generating a bit more money. Next up, we have Poet. And Poet is just a card in action and reveal the top card of your deck. If it costs 3 or less, put it into your hand. Really nice with cost reduction, which we don't have here. But also, every time you play Poet, you have +1 Sun, and +1 Sun means as soon as, so Poet has the type Omen here, as soon as as soon as 5 of those Omen cards have been played, the prophecy unlocks. And the prophecy here is that when the 5th Omen card, there's River Shrine and Poet, is played at the start of your turn, and when you remove the last sun, gain an action to your hand. So from that point on, we will always have 6 cards in hand, and one of those will be an action of our choice, super strong, and this is going to accelerate the kingdom quite a lot. Next up we have Trashing in River Shrine, also an Omen card. Trash up to 2 cards from your hand, and at the start of cleanup, if you didn't gain any cards in your buy phase during this turn, gain a card costing up to 4. So this kind of synergizes with its trashing, because in the early game, if you trash 2 cards from your hand, then you are most likely only going to have 2 money left. And in that case, you can just buy nothing, and yeah, at the end, gain a 4-cost card during cleanup. And it's also notable that this effect stacks, so if you play two River Shrines, for example, if you would actually have 2 River Shrines in play, or if you play a Daimyo and then a River Shrine, you would be able to gain 2 4-cost cards. Next up, we have Imperial Envoy. This one is +5 cards and plus a buy, so really strong effect, but it also costs 5. And then you get 2 debt. So same as Craftsman, you might put yourself into debt playing those, but they are strong effects that justify the 2 debt. Then we have Rice Broker, +1 action, and trash a card from your hand. If it's a treasure, +2 cards. If it's an action, +5 cards. Also can be nice draw in some kingdoms. It can be nice trashing in some kingdoms. Isn't great estate trashing, but we have River Shrine for that. There might be a use case. Let's see. And finally, we have Practice, an event for 3, which you have to buy for 3 money. And then during your buy phase, after buying this event, you may play an action card from your hand twice. And this might also be nice with River Shrine, because well, maybe not in the early game, I don't know. Because in principle, if you opt not to play the River Shrine and instead buy the practice event, then trash a card from your hand, trash up to 2 cards from your hand twice. Then you didn't gain any cards in your buy phase and get to have the River Shrine effect twice. But the trade-off is that you will only trash 1 card, at least in the early game, as long as you don't have a silver with it. Alright, so let's see how we're going to approach this kingdom. There are, as far as I see it, well, I think the general plan is to get clean first. Let's look at the kingdom plot. There are a bunch of gains, and you get to utilize those gains better the better the cleaner you are. There's thinning in River Shrine and Rice Broker, draw in Daimyo, Poet, Imperial Envoy, to some extent also Aristocrat, Advisor, and Village in Daimyo, Plaza, Aristocrat, also to some extent. And yeah, then there is no attack card, so this is really just a race. And the only way you influence each other is by, well, lowering piles and denying the opponent maybe of cards that way, and playing around a pile out, of course. So yeah, we want to get thin, so we're certainly going to open River Shrine, I think. And then we want all of the daimyos we can get our hands on. And then I'm not sure about the payload. There is Aristocrat with the 3 money, and then if you put the 4th in, you get buys, but also you could put in an Imperial Envoy for buys, and not sure. Plaza also if you have overdraw. I think playing with treasures here overall isn't all too enticing. There's just, with Daimyo and Aristocrat stuff going on, you might be just faster using that. And then there is the Craftsman question, because Craftsman allows you to gain 5-cost cards, a bunch, and if you can line them up with Daimyo somehow, or Daimyos, you can play a bunch of them, but you need to be careful that you're not ending up in a bunch of debt. But maybe also that's not too bad if you get to somehow empty 3 piles before AI gets its hand on provinces, because craftsmen can gain duchies, and yeah, I don't know. Let's see how we play. We might overpay a stonemason for an aristocrat sometimes. Notable also is that we of course cannot overpay daimyo from the stonemason. But yeah, let's see. As for the openings, I think on the 4-3 I might just go River Shrine Daimyo. If they line up, that's amazing. If they don't line up, we get to pay off the debt and grab another Daimyo. It's not too bad to be under debt, while the River Shrine effect might get us cards. And yeah, there's another, I don't know, there's no 3-cost card I would really want in the early game. On the 3-4, that's a bit more of a sad case because you cannot open Daimyo River Shrine. So on the 3-4, I might open Silver River Shrine or River Shrine nothing. Just be sad a bit. And on the 5-2, well, also River Shrine Daimyo, and then the 2-5, that's also tricky. I'm actually not sure. I think nothing River Shrine also. Yeah, you just want River Shrine is a really nice card because you get to do something productive on the turns you pay off debt, and also it will trigger Kind Emperor, which will both accelerate us and the AI, but I think it's worth going for. So let's start. This is good, I think. Now here we get to just put in another daimyo and hope we find daimyo. Oh, we have a golden sombrero. We do not find either of our starting buys, but that's okay because at least we get to line up River Shrine and daimyo, but so does AI, which is a little concerning. Now we are going to have a stranded daimyo in here, and now we get to gain 2 cards costing up to 4. And here I think, so next turn I might already trigger the Kind Emperor, which we might use just for to get a Rice Broker into our deck. I think at this point I like getting a Plaza and yeah, it's a bit sad having this bottom deck, the golden sombrero. Do we already want to put in an aristocrat? It's kind of a nothing card at this point, so let's go for another Plaza. And this Daimyo is also missing. Very interesting, not great, of course. Actually, maybe I should have denied the estate there for the trash. Now we do get to pick up a card here, and I think this card for sure wants to be a Rice Broker, just to get to the end of this shuffle and trigger the next one and see what we can get here. Yes, we do get to double play this once again. Now we can put in, I like going for the aristocrats now. They can be some draw, nice. And for the time being, I think we are fine just stacking up a few daimyos and playing the River Shrine a bunch of times to gain a bunch of cards. And then let's see where this leads us. But AI is doing great. I mean, look at those coffers. Has 6 coffers already, but it's going for silvers. Now let's gain this daimyo. Play this plaza. We're guaranteed to find the river shrine here. Let's not trash yet. Got to play it a bunch, which is great. Those aristocrats are just a pipe dream yet. Do we want to buy another daimyo? Yes, I think for sure we do. Actually, instead of discard, of course I can draw this copper. Stupid. Yeah. So now let's not. What? Ah no. I'm so incredibly stupid. Wow. Wow. I completely forgot that that River Shrine has this. I was like, let's buy this daimyo. Yeah, we can for sure put it in, and then just skip gaining 4 cards. Oh no, that was oof. That might have cost us the game. That was so incredibly dumb. Let's see whether we can come back from this incredible mistake. Let's see. Uh, let's actually gain an aristocrat here just to... No, let's gain a guy, daimyo. Daimyos all the way. And yeah, we have 4. Play the river shrine a bunch. Don't make the same mistake this time. You might, as soon as I had contemplated buying the daimyo, you might have facepalmed a bunch. That was painful, painful. Do we click craftsman? I think yes. And what else? I guess we can put in a bit of draw. How many times did we play it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times. We got 3 cards as of right now. Um, So we've put in an advisor, plaza, and I'm really not sure about this. Let's also see what the AI does. We have 2 aristocrats for the buys also. Yeah, let's go just for a bunch of that. Yeah, let's have the AI discard the envoy. It's gonna draw deck anyways, but yeah, let's see. It's gaining a duchy, that's interesting. Hmm. It's going into some debt, but it does have those silvers. It's going into more debt. Why is it playing those? Does it want the buys somehow? That didn't make much sense. And then just gains an aristocrat. Really weird. So let's continue on our daimyo train. Let's see. Now, I think even though it's really sad, we do want to waste this daimyo play here and just draw 3 cards. Just to get through a bit of more stuff. I think this turn again we want to do River Shrine gains just at the end of the turn, so let's play those daimyos on the River Shrine and then a few the remaining daimyos on the aristocrat for money to get out of debt. Or one more River Shrine. For do we like we could also think about whether we have a win here. I don't think so yet, but if we did play the craftsman a bunch, We could maybe... No, I think there's too much stuff we would need to gain. Let's play the River Shrine a bunch. Let's not trash anything. Man, I think this game could be over by this turn if I hadn't done this really dumb mistake of going for this daimyo there. Yeah. Okay, I discard the copper, but that's okay. Actually, we should have thought about seeing what we gain here. Let's put in, do we want to put in some draw for next turn? Yeah, I think so, just to make sure. And end our actions. We don't need to pay off that yet. And we can just gain craftsman, I guess, and some draw. But just not lower piles all too much. Yeah, I think that's okay. Hope the AI doesn't have a pile out here. Draw 6 cards. Doesn't have that many daimyos, right? Does have those two. And maybe one more. It will draw its deck here, but it will also very likely go into some debt. So the pipe dream this turn would be to just abuse our daimyos on craftsmen, pile out the duchies, pile out aristocrats and advisors maybe. Let's see whether we have that in us. I think, yeah, just the daimyo is the strongest here. Let's get this advisor. What does the AI discard? Okay, that's great. Do we want to daimyo one of those aristocrats? Let's see what we have here. Now, discards the daimyo. Yeah, pretty much what I thought. I think we can afford to just play this aristocrat like that. And just draw a bunch, draw more, draw more. Now, oh well, we maybe should have stopped there. That was not great. But, I mean, we just can quadruple play this craftsman here, gaining us the rest of these craftsmen. Right? And then we're actually short on actions by a bit. But we have 4, 5 gains, which can gain us 5 duchies. Then one more. No, are we short by? This is not great. I think I kind of, by not worrying about my actions, I've put myself into a corner here, right? If we play the 4 daimyos, we can play craftsman 5 times. And then we only get to play 2 more craftsmen. And we are not going to have enough money to pay off the debt of all of those craftsmen. But we can play the River Shrine. And the River Shrine... No, we cannot play the River Shrine because it's an action. Oof. I've really botched this. But oh, I think if we... No, this doesn't work because of the ways aristocrats work. Wait. We can still go back at this point. We can play this craftsman. Oh, this is breaking my brain. I'm sorry. I think we do have a win here. I think we want to... Let's not play all of those daimyos yet. Now we have 4 actions. Yeah. We need to gain an aristocrat here. And then everything will work out, I think, right? We can guarantee drawing an aristocrat. Now we play those 2, and then we double play the aristocrat, which will give us a bunch of actions, and that will allow us to play all of those craftsmen. This didn't need to be so hard, did it? Yeah, we can just gain these craftsmen now, right? So 3 craftsmen there. We play one of them 6 times, gaining us the duchies, and we have 2 more for aristocrat craftsmen. And that's just enough, right? We have enough actions. I'm just making sure, I'm sorry. Yeah, I think that's all good now. This was way more convoluted than it should have been. I'm very sorry if you were shaking your head a bunch. And this was still 10 turns, even though I had this really dumb mistake, that one turn where I bought the daimyo. And yeah, we just obliterated the piles on the last turn. I hope you enjoyed my thinking there, or you were just banging your head against the wall while I was thinking, or you just skipped it. That's also very fine, very much, yeah, very fine with me. But yeah, that was a crazy kingdom. And I mean, we did have that golden sombrero with our opening bias bottom decking, and then we had the huge mistake where I did where I skipped like 4 or 5 river shrine gains. But yeah, it still worked out. This is a crazy kingdom. I think it should be possible in 8 turns or 7 turns, given how we rolled. And yeah, in the end, we didn't go for the aristocrat line, where we just generated a bunch of payload that way, but it was nice to have that action, that option, of course. And we just went for the craftsman, yeah. I wonder if we could have still won had AI not gained that craftsman, because in that case, we would have needed to rely on emptying 1 more. Yeah, but maybe also I played the last turn a bit too fast, not thinking about the implications of which cards I played when, because I shouldn't have ended up with this low amount of actions. Yeah, crazy to me, crazy. I hope, yeah, it was still nice, and this was half an hour of video for 10 very thoughtful turns and very mistakeful turns, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll try to catch you the next time. Goodbye.